to Strawberry Land. All across the wide valley, the leaves on the sturdy trees have begun to turn from green into 1,000 beautiful shades of yellow, orange, and red. When the wind shakes them loose, they dance and spin to the ground, covering the earth with a colorful, soft carpet of leaves. Although the year is growing old, the sun still warms the days here in Strawberry Land. Everyone who lives in the valley is busy now, gathering in the biggest and ripest berries they can find, for it is harvest time.
This is my very favorite time of year,
said Strawberry Shortcake. She reached up and plucked another ripe berry off her vine. Her cart was almost full to the top with bright red berries. While she worked, her polka dot kitten Custard chased the leaves that fell all around them.
By my deduction,
said Plum Puddin', who is always deducing something or another,
we have only a few more days to pick our berries before winter begins. Now, by multiplying the sum...
How silly you are,
scolded Raspberry Tart.
Anyone can tell that it will be warm for weeks and weeks. This sun feels so nice.
Yeah,
said Huckleberry Pie as he lazed by the stream on a pile of golden leaves.
I'm in no hurry to do anything, and that's for sure.
Huckleberry's little dog, Pupcake, romped nearby. Just then, Blueberry Muffin dropped a big bucket of freshly picked berries. They bounced and rolled all over the ground.
Oh, my!
She cried.
There go all my berries! After all that work.
Can't you be more careful?
Shouted Raspberry Tart.
Look at what a mess you've made.
Perhaps,
offered Plum Puddin',
if the ratio of berries to bucket were closer...
Well, let's not all just talk,
said Strawberry Shortcake.
We should help Blueberry Muffin pick up the berries she spilled. I'm sure she would do the same for any one of us.
The only one who didn't have anything to say about it all was Apple Dumpling. But then, she never does. You see, she's much too young to talk. While all of Blueberry Muffin's friends helped her collect the berries she had spilled, little Apple Dumpling slept soundly under the apple tree in the warm autumn sun. No one but Plum Puddin' seemed to notice that up at the very top of Sunday Mountain, high above Strawberry Land, the cold gray clouds of winter were beginning to gather.
Singing.
following morning, when the residents of Strawberry Land rose from their beds, they were greeted by a surprise. Overnight, the weather had changed. The temperature had dropped, and a crisp layer of frost covered everything in sight. Their valley shone like spun glass in the morning light. Strawberry Shortcake wiped her hand across the frosty window pane and cleared away the ice.
Oh, my goodness!
She exclaimed.
I guess Plum Puddin' was right. It looks like winter is here. If we don't hurry and gather our berries, then they will all freeze and be spoiled.
She pulled on her warmest sweater and thick wool socks, then headed off to the berry patch. By the time Strawberry Shortcake arrived, Plum Puddin' and Blueberry Muffin were already hard at work. Carefully, they brushed off the frost and plucked the cold berries from the bushes. Soon, Raspberry Tart and Huckleberry Pie appeared and shivered in the morning chill.
I'm freezing,
declared Raspberry Tart as she buttoned up her jacket all the way to the top.
Yep,
Said Huckleberry Pie.
it sure did turn cold fast. We better get these berries into the house.
Plum Puddin' was almost finished picking his berries. Although he was much too nice to say it aloud, his friends could see the "I told you so" look on his face. As the sun climbed higher into the blue morning sky, the frost began to melt into shiny drops of dew. They caught the sun and glittered like diamonds as they dripped from the berries to the ground. All day long, Strawberry Shortcake and her friends worked as hard as they could. They carried baskets and buckets filled to the brim with berries to the big kitchen in Strawberry Shortcake's house. Finally, when the sun was setting, Blueberry Muffin arrived with the last bucket of berries. She brought Little Apple Dumpling with her, all wrapped up snugly in a warm blanket. As the sun slipped down behind Sunday Mountain, a cold chill fell over the valley.
Ooh, it's so cold,
rattled Raspberry Tart. Even rough and tumble Huckleberry Pie shivered in the corner. He hugged his dog Pupcake close to him for warmth.
How fast the seasons can change,
exclaimed Strawberry Shortcake.
Soon the ground will be covered in snow, and the stream will freeze. Thank goodness we have gathered enough berries for the winter. Tomorrow we shall make them all into jam.
Custard, the kitten, jumped up from the cold floor into Strawberry's lap and purred away contentedly.
It's only logical that we need a fire,
said Plum Puddin'. He set about the task, and soon a fire was burning brightly in the fireplace. It filled the room with a warm glow.
It's much too cold for you all to go home tonight,
said Strawberry Shortcake.
We'll all stay here together.
Blueberry Muffin baked a batch of her delicious muffins. Everyone ate until they were full. Then they huddled around the fire to keep warm until they all fell sound asleep. As the hours passed, the fire burned low, and the last wisps of smoke drifted up the chimney. Outside, silently, the snow was falling. next day, Strawberry Shortcake and her friends began turning their fresh berries into jam. Huckleberry Pie and Blueberry Muffin cleaned up all the berries. Raspberry Tart carried them to the stove. Under Plum Pudding's careful observation, Strawberry Shortcake cooked all the berries to perfection.
I think it could use more sugar.
Offered Plum Pudding.
We want the jam to be nice and thick.
Perhaps just a pinch of cinnamon would be nice,
Suggested Blueberry Muffin. Strawberry Shortcake stirred the big pot constantly. A wonderful smell filled her house, a sweet, spicy aroma of fresh jam.
Boy, that sure smells good.
Said Huckleberry Pie.
When's it gonna be ready?
He asked.
The jam is almost finished cooking now,
Declared Strawberry Shortcake.
but it's much too hot to eat. We must wait for it to cool. Let's go outside and play.
Suggested Blueberry Muffin.
When we come back, the jam will be ready to eat.
Everyone agreed that was a splendid idea. Everyone put on their coats and mittens to go outside. When Strawberry Shortcake tried to open the door, she made a surprising discovery.
The door is stuck, and I can't open it.
She exclaimed.
Let me at it.
Said Huckleberry Pie. He pushed as hard as he could, but still the door would not budge. Everyone in the house pushed and shoved, but the door remained tightly shut. It was Strawberry Shortcake who finally stood on a box and looked out the window.
Oh, my!
She shouted.
Look!
Everyone rushed to the window and gazed out in amazement. As far as they could see, the whole valley was full of snow. The trees and bushes were covered with a thick layer of white powder that glistened in the sun.
Well, that certainly explains why the door won't open.
Said Strawberry Shortcake.
It must be frozen shut. Oh, no.
Moaned Blueberry Muffin.
We're trapped inside.
And trapped they were, but not for long. Clever Plum Pudding quickly figured out a plan to free them.
Hand me one of those empty jam bottles.
He said.
And stay away from the window. I need all the sunlight there is.
Carefully, he placed the bottle in the path of the sunlight that fell through the window. Using the thick bottom of the bottle like a magnifying glass, he focused all the sun on one tiny crack around the edge of the frozen door. Slowly but surely, the sun's rays began to melt the ice. Everyone held their breath and waited. After a few minutes, Plum Pudding said,
Well, I think that should do the job. Let's all try to push the door now and see if it will open. All together now. 1, 2, 3.
Strawberry Shortcake and all her friends pushed as hard as they could. There was a loud cracking sound as the ice gave way and the door swung open.
Hooray! Now we can play!
Exclaimed Strawberry Shortcake.
I'll stay inside and take care of Apple Dumpling.
Volunteered Raspberry Tart.
She's much too young to stay all alone.
Raspberry Tart and Apple Dumpling waved goodbye from the doorway. Strawberry Shortcake, Plum Pudding, Blueberry Muffin, and Huckleberry Pie tumbled out into the fluffy white snow to play.
Just yesterday the hills were orange and bright. Today the only color is white. Where did all the trees and bushes go? They're buried under piles and piles of snow. It's a perfect day
later, tired and hungry, the four returned to Strawberry Shortcake's house. After they hung up their coats and hats, Strawberry Shortcake said,
Let's all have some jam now. I'm sure it's cool enough to eat.
She walked to the stove and looked into the big pot.
It's empty.
She shouted.
All the jam is gone. What could have happened to it?
Wondered Blueberry Muffin.
I'll bet I know.
Said Plum Puddin'. All eyes turned toward Raspberry Tart. She and Apple Dumpling were covered from ear to ear in sticky jam.
How could you?
Exclaimed Blueberry Muffin.
It was easy.
Said Raspberry Tart.
We were hungry and the jam smelled so good. I'm sorry.
She said.
Don't be angry with me. Besides, I don't feel so good.
I'll bet you don't.
Said Huckleberry Pie.
After eating all that jam? Now what'll we eat for dinner? I'm getting awful hungry.
Strawberry Shortcake walked to her cupboard and opened the door. There on the shelves were jar after jar of delicious strawberry preserves.
This should be enough to last all winter long.
Said Strawberry Shortcake.
I've been saving them for a special occasion, and I guess this is it.
Well, let's eat.
Said Huckleberry Pie. And eat they did. Later that evening, Plum Puddin' built another fire. After a hard day of playing, everyone was soon fast asleep. Happy together, the long and cold winter passed quickly. One day, early in March, Strawberry Shortcake and her friends awoke to a wonderful sound. Water was dripping from the roof. The big icicles which hung down across the window were melting. A bright, warm sun rose in the sky.
Look!
Shouted Strawberry Shortcake.
The winter is over. Spring is here at last. Soon the berries will begin to grow again.
Everyone danced and sang, while Strawberry Shortcake opened the window and let in the fresh air.
Listen.
She said.
Do you hear what I hear?
Everyone stopped singing and ran to the window. Through the open window, the sound was clearer. And then they saw where the sound was coming from. High in the branches of a nearby tree, a robin was singing.
What a beautiful song.
Said Strawberry Shortcake.
The very first song of spring.
Spinning and spinning endlessly on. The seasons are here, and when they are gone, the summer, the fall, the winter, the spring, each one has something special to bring. Spring is great and the autumn is fall. How they unravel and how they unfold. It's been that way forever, or so I've been told. We're in Strawberry Land. It's a land not far away from where you're standing now. Strawberry Land. You could go there every day if only you knew how. If I told you that I've been living on strawberry soda, strawberry jelly and jam,